The stars and spuds are out in Sun Valley, and she's still got it. Lindsey Vonn is back on the podium and won't stop believing as she continues to fight her way back to the 2026 Winter Olympic Games. And Mikaela Shiffrin's resetting the record. She's reclaiming her confidence, and there's 100 reasons why, as she too closes out her season in Idaho. Plus, Jaylen Kauf, who swept the globes in all three moguls disciplines this season, joins us to reflect on her season and the family support that keeps her J's all in a row. It's coming on the Stifel Snow Show. Hello everybody, I'm Cara Banks, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to a special hour-long Stifel Snow Show, our season finale, as we wrap up a truly compelling year in snow sports. As the 2026 Olympic and Paralympic Games approach, we've witnessed many rides to remember as the world's top athletes have consistently delivered this season. So let's have a look one last time at where members of the US ski and snowboard teams have been competing recently. Starting with the freestyle ski and snowboard world championships in scenic Engadin, Switzerland. Then the capital of Estonia for some cross-country in Tallinn. And we'll continue with more cross-country in beautiful Lahti, Finland. Next, para-alpines getting technical in Veysonnaz, Switzerland, before we return home again for US athletes at the Stifel Sun Valley Finals in none other than Sun Valley, Idaho, which is where we'll begin. Did you know that Sun Valley Resort is home to the world's first chairlift? Well, that opened in 1936. Fast forward 89 years to another first, the inaugural Stifel Sun Valley Finals. It's the final Alpine World Cup of the season where history was made yet again, this time by the defiant Lindsey Vonn. But first up in the Super G, Switzerland's Lara Gutberami would push out of the gate with aggressive force. Her blistering run was marked by fast, carving turns exceeding 62 miles per hour. While the reigning Olympic champion in this discipline, Gutberami also clinched the Stifel Heroic Cup, a movement celebrating and empowering women in skiing and snowboarding. So, in the final women's speed event of the season, the 33-year-old set the bar quite high for anybody coming after her. But 7 races later, Lindsey Vonn, in potentially her last ever race on US soil, was poised to deliver a fierce challenge. The American, who is the most successful Super G skier of all time with 28 wins, was prepared to answer even Gutberami's impressive showing. After 5 years in retirement, don't forget, Vonn announced her return to the sport back in November, and her best result this season so far had been a 4th place finish in January in the Super G in St. Anton, Austria. Well, the 4-time Olympian was not backing down. Vonn has called this season really up and down, but also said that when you love something and you work hard at it, it really feels good when you're finally rewarded. And you can hear the roars. Rewarded she would be. Her run stellar enough to cross the finish line in 2nd place, to the excitement of the home crowd. Emotions on full display as the 40-year-old became the oldest woman to reach a World Cup podium.
Lindsey Vonn!
While Gutberami's win secured her a record 6th Super G Globe, Frederica Brignone took 3rd, and Heather Cox caught up with Vonn after the race.
Lindsey absolutely brought it today. So, Lindsey, what was your mentality at the start date to get the best finish of the season?
You know, I really wanted to do well at home. It's very rare in my career that I've ever been able to ski a speed event on home soil. And, you know, the snow is just like home and Vail for me. I felt really comfortable on it. It was a good course set. I knew I had to just charge, and I saw that Lauren went out, and I was like, well, I'm the only American left, so I better show up for my country. And I usually do better when the pressure's higher. You know, it's the last race of the season. I just put it all on the line, and, you know, this is the level that I know I can ski, and I know I can even do better than that. So, you know, it's been a rough season of people saying that I can't, that I'm too old, that I'm not good enough anymore, and I think I proved everyone wrong.
What were the first thoughts you had when you crossed that finish line?
Well, at first I thought I was 12th, and I was like, oh man, not again. But then I saw 2, and I was like, you know, it's been a long road. I'm doing this because I love it, but that doesn't mean it's been easy. You know, it's been really hard, and This year has just been really up and down, and it's been hard to stay positive sometimes, like I said, especially because people are telling me that I should just quit again. But today was just, it meant everything to me, and this is the road now to Cortina next year, and it's begun, and I'm positive, I'm happy. This is why I'm here, so I can ski in front of my home crowd, in front of my family, and do my country proud.
Lindsey, your last podium was 7 years ago. Are feelings like this what coming back is all about?
You know, this is what you work hard for. This is what you dream about, and you know, obviously I ski because I love it, but doing well also helps.
Icing on the cake for sure. Congratulations on a great day. Enjoy every moment.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, now for our Fast Facts powered by iFit. With that second place finish in Sun Valley, Vonn is now tied for third with Austria's Marcel Hirscher for the most World Cup podiums of all time at 138, only behind teammate Mikaela Shiffrin and Sweden's Ingemar Stenmark. Well, you heard Lindsey mention it. Team USA's Lauren Macuga also raced in the Super G, but unfortunately caught an edge and had to ski out. So despite being unable to finish the race, she was still cheered on by a very enthusiastic crowd that included her sisters, Allie, who competes on the Stifel US freestyle team, and Sam, who's on the US ski jumping team. Heather Cox was lucky enough to catch up with all three skiing sisters in Sun Valley.
All right, now we are joined by the Macuga sisters, all three elite skiers for the U.S. ski team. Allie and Sam, you've never until today seen Lauren race in person. So what was it like?
Oh my gosh, it was insane. I've never even seen like a World Cup downhill or Super G or GS course in person. And we drove up and saw it, and I was like, you ski down this like as fast as you can? Like, that's insane.
We like to joke about this, but I don't know anything about ski racing. I just watch Lauren, and every time I'm like, that looks fast, that looks scary. I'll stick to my lane. Like, I don't know, man. You look great.
Thanks. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
How much trash talking, how much ribbing is there between the three of you?
Well, you should see when we play Mario Kart.
Yeah,
It also works well that we're all in different sports, because I think if we all did the same sport, the competitiveness would be too crazy.
Now, what about keeping track of where you guys are? I mean, it's like, where's Waldo across the world? How, or do you guys even know where you are half the time?
No. We talk about it all the time. People will be like, oh, where are your sisters competing? I'm like, oh, let me pull up, find my friends. Yeah, we can't really keep track of it, except for when our mom sends a little update in the morning. Go, Sam! And you're like, Sam's competing.
Allie, let's talk about your sport specifically. You did suffer a concussion last summer, and it was tough. I mean, you thought about maybe leaving the sport. So what is it that kept that passion and that love of the sport to keep you going?
My family is definitely a big part of it. Like, these guys, especially just like, oh, don't cry. Oh no. Just, they support me a lot. And my teammates too, my coaches. And especially just this year, like, with how hard it was, made me realize too just how much I love the sport.
And Lauren, you have had an absolute breakout season. So fun watching you crush it at World Championships, 4th overall in the downhill. When you look back at this season, what will stand out as what made this so special?
I mean, there are two moments, I think. One was World Champs. I mean, getting the medal and winning in St. Anton were both really cool, but I think both of those settled in the moment I saw my mom in the finish, and she gave me a hug, and it was just all tears, and that's when I really felt, I was like, wow, I'm doing this. Like I just did that. And I think the second one was actually here, the moment, like coming through the finish and seeing the crowd, but then seeing my family right there, like all supportive, you know, they witnessed my first DNF ever, but it was just like that moment. I was like, wow, like the fact that they're here, we're all here together is so cool.
Of course, have to talk fashion when we're with you, Lauren. We've been keeping track throughout the season. 8 bucket hats leading into this. I can see you've got a new one now, sporting the Sun Valley bucket hat. So what's the total on the season?
Oh my gosh, so you should see my room. There is a mountain of bucket hats. I've been collecting them. I have like 15 on the road with me.
Pretty cool to think Cortina is just right around the corner. Have you guys talked about it, or is it taboo? How superstitious are you? I mean, like, can we make this happen? 3 Macuga sisters at the Olympics.
it's fun to entertain the idea, and I don't think we shy away from talking about it, because I think it's more fun to believe in ourselves and believe in the possibility. Like, oh, let's meet up at the Olympics.
Like, yeah, that'd be the coolest thing ever.
Oh yes, to convene in Cortina. Well, Lauren was quick to congratulate Lindsey Vonn on finishing second in Sun Valley, Vonn's first podium in more than 2,500 days, which of course called for a celebratory cha-cha slide with the whole team. They may be competitors, but the camaraderie of the women's alpine team was on full display at Sun Valley. And we'll have more from Idaho when we return. Well, there's more than just alpine in Sun Valley. Meet ski joring, a sport in which competitors wear skis and clutch reins attached to a horse. It made its Olympic debut at St. Moritz in 1928, albeit as a demonstration sport, and that was its solitary appearance. Originating in Scandinavia, ski joring brought some of the Wild West to the Stifel Sun Valley finals. Well, this season's also been a wild ride for the greatest alpine skier of all time. Mikaela Shiffrin has returned from injury, surgery and ensuing PTSD from the events in Killington in the most historic of ways. Now, with 100 World Cup victories to speak of, the recently turned 30-year-old's perseverance and drive isn't too dissimilar to another world traveller at the top of her game.
I know that you're into Taylor Swift as well. What era do you think you're in?
Oh. I guess I would combine the Midnights and Tortured Poets Apartment eras. I would combine those, and I feel like I'm kind of in that space. I'm one of the many people who feel like I've grown up with Taylor's eras. When she was writing Folklore and Evermore, that was during the period when my dad had passed away, and just trying to navigate everything around that and her albums and the way she wrote them. It was like an escape for me. Now I feel like I'm coming back out of sort of a fog and understanding more about myself with relationships, with a lot of things that have gone on that have helped make me stronger or understand more about myself and have greater self-awareness. It's a pretty special place to be. I went to the Eras Tour in Denver, brought all my teammates, and we had such an incredible experience dancing and singing and dressing up and bonding over just such a spectacular event. I think it was really cool to experience and learn a little bit about the prep that she does for her shows and how strenuous it really is. To be up on stage, dancing, running from one side of the stage to the other, and then going and singing and like sounding good. It's very in line with the kind of discipline you need to have to be a world champion athlete. Very self-disciplined, very motivated. You have to kind of keep your eyes on the overarching goal the entire time. It was really interesting to see it in action and be like, the goal is to be here and be well enough prepared that she can actually enjoy performing on these shows. I guess that's a very similar goal to what I have in skiing. I want to be well enough prepared that I might be able to actually take some moments in during the race and just be in awe of the event itself and to immerse in that and not just be worried that I'm not prepared enough and I'm not fast enough, I'm not this or that. Pretty enlightening. And it's also just an amazing show. Like, I did not want it to end. I was not ready to be done after 4 hours. So.
Quite the pair of showstoppers. Well, this week also marked the climax of a turbulent season for the two-time Olympic champion. And our team in Sun Valley were there to witness Shiffrin's final slalom attempt on this World Cup circuit.
Mikaela Shiffrin is a skier who has not only moved the needle, she has reset the dial. And just a few weeks ago, earning her 100th career World Cup win. And then after that, breaking the record for most ever podium finishes on the World Cup. And that followed a 2-month injury layoff. And now, trying to cap the season here at home.
And she's been here training for a while. She told Heather that she was going to be nervous and that she was expecting a rough ride. So she's going to fight to keep her tactics and keep her timing, and she is doing just that. Almost perfect, great timing, finding the rhythm, slight and powerful on her skis, carrying momentum down the hill, calm upper body, great skiing.
And the lead swelling. Shiffrin expanding her remarkable legacy in front of a roaring U.S. crowd. It's a
representing the United States of America, Mikaela Shiffrin.
So it's another memorable victory for Mikaela Shiffrin, and she also finishes 4th in the season-long slalom standings. And Mikaela is now over with Heather Cox.
Mikaela does it again, wins slalom in back-to-back World Cup finals for her 101st victory. Mikaela, what did it take? Just how deep did you have to dig to capture this win?
Yeah, pretty deep. It was tough conditions. Like we said the first one, there were big tracks and a little bit wild ride sometimes, but I felt really connected with the snow, and my skis felt perfect. So then I could keep moving down the hill, and it felt quite good to ski.
You admitted to me that you were battling nerves today. So instead of letting them hurt you, how did you embrace them and really use them to your advantage?
Yeah, it's a balance. I think it just boils down to being in the final moment in the start gate before you go, or for me, that I'm just thinking about like strong things. And I have a lot of doubt through the day. But in that moment, it's like just focus on the technical things, just my cues and high intensity. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but I'm happy that it worked today.
Absolutely. And Mikaela, when we were chatting after that first run, you saw on the Jumbotron the group of girls dressed as Dalmatians, hoping that you would capture win number 101. What is the message that you hope to send to them and everybody else that you inspire?
Everybody here in the U.S. and like returning home for the final races of the season and to be racing in the U.S. It's so amazing to connect with these fans. They're so enthusiastic, and it's just so important for us to have these World Cup races here because it's for U.S. ski racing. It's such an important piece to inspire the next generation.
What kind of exclamation point does this win put on a season that's been very exciting but very challenging at times?
It has been, it's been quite up and down, but I think if anything I realized more again that even, at 30 I've been doing this for a while, but I'm still learning new things every season, and there's new exciting adventures always just around the corner, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's next.
Congratulations. Enjoy the off season. Steve?
Well, it was a tremendous week of racing here in Sun Valley, Idaho. Fabulous crowds each and every day. And the perfect punctuation mark, Peekaboo Street, with Mikaela Shiffrin getting her 101st career win.
I mean, I think back to my career 30 years ago. I won 9 World Cup downhills. And people want to call me a hero and a legend. No. I mean, one individual athlete, 101 victories. Absolutely astonishing, and something I'm so stoked to have been able to be here and to witness.
And Steve, what a ride it was for Shiffrin all season long. The lowest of lows, the highest of highs, and now she rides into an Olympic season next year.
She's had this injury-free, for the large part, career. And so one thing you don't know about Shiffrin is how does she come back? How does she come back? She struggled with it. And then finally cleared that hurdle, showed up the star she is in slalom. Still question marks about giant slalom and Super G going into the Olympics year. As good as she is in GS, and she's the best ever, I think she's actually better in Super G. So I would love to see that build towards the Olympics and have her be at least a 3-medal threat.
Well, we will find out as we close out this long winter, and what a fabulous Winter World Cup we witnessed over the course of the last 6 months. And now, hey, it's on to an Olympic season in Milan Cortina next year, and we will see you there.
Well, thanks so much, guys, and congratulations are in order for our own Peekaboo Street after Sun Valley unveiled a new bronze statue of the Olympic champion, epitomising the ski stance that she's best known for. Peekaboo's a 2-time Olympic medalist who grew up skiing right there at Sun Valley. Now she's got a ski run, a street and a statue to her name in the town. After the break, we'll be joined by another incredible female athlete. Moguls champ Jaylen Kauf will be with us when we come back.
Here is Jaylen Kauf. Wow, Kauf has the confidence, she has the speed.
Just asserting dominance here.
Fastest skier out here, going super fast. The Jays are flying. Wow. Another victory for Jaylen Kauf.
Well, after winning this year's Dual Moguls Crystal Globe, Jaylen Kauf was ready to conquer at the Freestyle World Championships in Engadin, Switzerland. Set to be one of the most anticipated events in Cortina next year, Dual Moguls will make its Olympic debut at the 2026 Winter Games. And it just so happens Kauf's teammate Tess Johnson came equally prepared to take home a medal. We give you our Stifel Stars of the Week. It was already an exciting day for the US team when Johnson and Kauf both advanced to the big final, guaranteeing the best ever finish for the US at the World Championships in Dual Moguls. So the two close friends were set to put up an epic fight for the gold medal. Despite a few errors from both athletes, Kauf stepped on the gas in the midsection of her course. Her signature speed, along with jumps, made her untouchable throughout the day, and the big final was no exception. An especially memorable matchup given the friendship between these two teammates, but also competitors. Kauf ultimately took the gold medal and Johnson the silver, the best world championship result for both athletes. It was the first time the US has ever gone 1-2 at world championships in this discipline, but not the first time these two have shared a podium. Look at this flashback from their amateur days 10 years ago. What an arc for this duo and for the whole US freestyle team. And we can welcome the gold medalist in now. Jaelin, congrats on grabbing the world title in Dual Moguls. What was that experience like with Tess, given how long you two have been competing alongside each other?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was super fun. You know, that's what we want is US going for 1 and 2. We're both guaranteed those medals. Tess and I have been competing together for a long time on the US ski team together, and pretty special for both of us to have that run together, both get our best results at World Champs, and our entire team that day really crushed it on the women's side, and just really cool to top off the season that way for all of us, I think.
And getting a lot of feels ahead of next year. I'm sure this must give you a lot of confidence, knowing the discipline is going to be making its Olympic debut in Milan Cortina. How excited are you now to race Dual Moguls at the Winter Games next year for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, it's super exciting. Like, I mean, as you see, like, Dual Moguls is such an exciting sport to watch, to be a part of, and it's going to be really incredible to have it in the Olympics next year, and you know, definitely going for that top spot and another medal opportunity there. So it's super exciting for all of us.
Let's reflect on what you've just achieved. The word dominance springs to mind. 3 Crystal Globes in all 3 disciplines, moguls, dual and overall. 8 wins, 14 podiums. I mean, how proud are you of your progress this season?
Yeah, you know, that was the goal going into the season. Maybe felt a little far-fetched after the first couple events, but I feel like I just really kept my sights set on that run. I was trying to ski and focusing on me as much as possible, and it really all started to come together that second half of the season, and yeah, it's pretty cool to win all of the globes.
What an epic achievement, like you say, you've had at the end of the season. You mentioned the team at World Championships, obviously you and Tess going 1-2, so tell us, what is the camaraderie of the women's moguls team like?
Yeah, we have such an incredible women's team. I mean, obviously the talent and strength in skiing, but also just as individuals. And, you know, we all get along really well. We have a lot of fun together, both on and off the hill. And when you're traveling and on the road pretty much all of the time, like, these are the people you're spending your life with. They're there through all of it, through the upsets and the triumphs, and it's really a truly special team to be a part of.
Well, speaking of a team, what about a family? We saw you hug your mum after winning that gold at World Champs. I know that you followed in your parents' footsteps, of course, by skiing moguls, and I'm sure you value their support. The traveling Jays, I love watching this. They've switched from silver to gold to perhaps now crystal. Who knows? How nice is it to see them and those Jays out in the crowd?
Yeah, my dad works all year, all summer. He's going to be workshopping those Jays. And it's so special to have them there, to be able to share that with them. They definitely understand this journey that I'm on and being a skier at this level, and just having their constant love and support and seeing them just going nuts, regardless of the result at the bottom of the hill, is just really special for me.
So you mentioned what your dad's going to be doing this off-season and how you're used to normally being on the road every week, but now it's the end of the season. Obviously, we're looking ahead to a big year next year, but will this off-season look any different for you with, of course, the Olympics looming next February?
Not too much different, maybe a little more training here or there, but got a lot of house projects, gardening, you know, surfing and off-season activities to just get my mind off of skiing and kind of get an escape for a bit.
Well, celebrate a terrific season. You deserve it, some much needed time off. I know you got your brother to go out and support as well. So congratulations on the year. Thanks so much for joining us, and we can't wait to see you in Milan Cortina.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Now, Ms. Kauf isn't afraid of a trick or two, you know, and how much fun did we have this season watching the elite ski and snowboarders throw down some tongue twisters? Somehow, we've managed to whittle it down and bring you our top 5 that sent us soaring this season. At number 5 is the newly crowned world silver medalist, Tess Johnson, for a whole host of tricks that helped her gain top air scores in moguls and crucial to her season's success. The American freestyle moguls athlete is certainly one to watch now, heading towards Milan Cortina. At number 4, Nick Gebber is a 3-time Olympic medalist in freeski slopestyle. He's since changed it up and switched to halfpipe. The Lawrenceburg, Indiana native slayed the World Cup season with 4 podiums, thanks in part to trick ingenuity, including this switch right Bonaire 900 tail in Secret Garden, China, the first time it's been done in competition. At 3, Chloe Kim is one of the greatest female snowboarders of all time. The 2-time Olympic gold medalist threw down an epic cab double cork 1080 at the Lux Open this season, becoming the first woman in halfpipe history to do so. The 24-year-old explained that she's been working on rediscovering her love for snowboarding and focusing on the joy of the sport ahead of the next Winter Games. At number 2, Maddie Mastro, who executed also in lax a frontside double cork 1080, along with her signature double crippler, which is 2 backflips. She became the first woman to land 2 double inversions in one competition run. Exceptional form from the 2-time Olympian, who's known to utter, quote, "It's not that serious," before she drops in. Mastro also took home the women's overall halfpipe crystal globe. Our number 1 goes to Japan's Hiroto Ojiwara and his 2340 mute grab from the 2025 X Games in Aspen. The first one of its kind at an X Games and the first ever in competition. That's 6.5 rotations landed. The untouchable 19-year-old taking home gold in big air, and he did it all with a fractured wrist. Don't be surprised to see Ojiwara continue to shock the snowboarding world. And we'll have more action on the snow after this. Well, what a thrill to have followed the Stifel US cross-country ski team this season, a group defined by tenacity, grit, experience and depth. Team Program Director Chris Grover began the season by highlighting the leadership of the women's team, and the performances we've seen since then bared that out. Lighting the way, of course, none other than the shining star that is Jessie Diggins. Well, the final distance events of the season were held in Lahti, Finland, where Diggins explained she was racing the 50-kilometre mass start just for the joy of it. Fair enough after already securing the cross-country World Cup overall title. She finished 9th in Finland, enough to secure the distance crystal globe by just 2 points. Despite battling a foot injury for quite some time, Diggins had a dominant season that included 7 podiums, 6 of them victories. And she wore that coveted yellow leader's bib from the very first race weekend. This is Diggins' 3rd time clinching the overall crystal globe. She is the only non-European to earn it in the sport's history. And it's the 2nd year in a row she's won both the overall and distance crystal globes. While Diggins' teammate, 2022 Olympian Julia Kern, was ready to close the season in style over in Estonia. The 27-year-old, who took 17th in the women's sprint free at this venue in 2023, had an opportunity to land an individual World Cup podium 5 years since her last. Her determination was perhaps also bolstered by a World Championship silver this season in the team sprint, which she earned alongside Diggins. Kern finished 3rd and was able to celebrate by placing the customary blue star on the ceiling of the wax track.
Julia, Julia, Julia. Yeah, Julia! Woo!
Well, this season's freeski slopestyle crystal globe winner is also a 12-time X Games medalist and an Olympic gold medalist. The 26-year-old, who was raised in Zurich, Switzerland, and then moved to Park City, Utah, has balanced his love for competitive skiing with another passion, filming street and backcountry clips with friends Hunter Hess and Owen Dahlberg. Alex Hall is our Stifel Spotlight.
Hunter and I had been friends for a really long time, and we talked about it for a while, how we'd be really hyped to kind of film together and work together. It was never really a plan to make it too much of a series or crew or whatever you want to call it, but we've done 3 movies, Magma 1, 2, and 3, and we figured we'd cap it off kind of with a new name and keep it a trilogy and kind of start with a fresh beginning. We had a great time filming Ash. We filmed it over in Europe, so we got to kind of experience what the European Alps are all about in the spring. We hit a bunch of great spots. I'd say one of my favorites was this big wall ride we hit, which was the side of a big electrical tower up in the mountains, and it was actually a spot from the old ski movie way back in the day.
Woo! I'm glad that. Good job, my man. That was like pretty chill.
I think a lot of the time it's hard to understand how tough it is and how much effort and time it takes to make ski videos.
Knocked myself in the tank after this day.
You're out there in a random city, driving around for hours, just looking for stuff that's not really meant to be skied on, and there's probably not a lot of snow around.
We might as well go look at this one. If it's not dope, then we can go back this way.
I think that's why I love the filming aspect of it so much. It really pushes your creativity a lot. When you're in a film environment, skiing in a city or the backcountry, you're skiing on something that's not built for skiing. You're kind of adjusting to the elements in the terrain. It's a lot tougher to, get really good tricks and ski on that stuff. So when you then show up to a competition setting where they've built a perfect course for you or a perfect jump, it can seem a lot easier.
Alex Hall puts it down like always.
Yes!
You're looking at the features in a way that I think some of the athletes might not be, just because they aren't doing the street skiing and they are maybe looking at it in a more traditional sense, where you can kind of start to think outside of the box. What you were doing in the weeks before was so much scarier that it honestly feels pretty mellow when you show up to the competitions.
Well, despite his movie prowess, Alex Hall wasn't in the hills of Hollywood this weekend, but rather in Engadin, Switzerland at the World Champs, competing in the freeski slopestyle finals. Hall took the course saying, quote, "My strategy lately has just been to go for the run I really feel like doing, having fun doing it, and trying the hardest rail tricks I can think of." Well, a worthy strategy this season for Hall, who returned 3 World Cup podiums, including 2 firsts in Aspen and team. His tricky rail combos made this a tough run to top. But up for the task was 2022 Beijing Olympian Mac Forehand, who made history back in 2019 by winning the overall World Cup title in slopestyle at just 17 years of age, and he's been pushing ever since. The 5-time X Games medalist from Stratton, Vermont showed off his technical rail combos and jumps, impressing judges and setting him up for a podium position. So Forehand won the silver and Hall the bronze. Forehand remarking that, quote, "With Alex up there with me today, it's like having a brother alongside." The two shared a podium in Lax back in January, also going 2 and 3. Norway's Berg Rune took the top spot. Well, 16 sure is sweet, especially when you're Ollie Martin competing in men's snowboard slopestyle in your World Championships debut, age 16. Martin dropped in and locked in, delivering the run of his life thus far, switching up his final 2 tricks last minute, by the way, after watching his fellow competitors step it up. He explained the quick thinking, saying, quote, "I didn't feel confident the run I had planned would give me a good enough shot at the podium, so I talked with my coaches and we decided to change it up." Well, that decision earned the team a bronze, and best of all, a hug from Mum. Well, now to mixed team aerials, where the US will head towards the 2026 Winter Games as both the reigning Olympic champions and reigning world champs. Congratulations to Chris Lillis, Quinn Dellinger, and Kayla Kuhn, who combined to win the world title. 26-year-old Lillis and 22-year-old Dellinger were also on the team that won the last world title in 2023. 21-year-old Kuhn earned her first world medal with this victory. Lillis saying he's been watching Kayla grow up and, quote, "just go through triple jumps like that." Also saying that Quinn's kind of like a brother to him and he's had so much fun growing up alongside each other and just knew that he couldn't let them down. Well, the team were ready to celebrate. Well, huge congrats to the aerials team, and joining us next, another thrill seeker, 3-time Paralympic gold medalist who is a leading voice in disability advocacy and so much more. You don't want to miss Brenna Huckaby when we come back. Well, she's a three-time Paralympic gold medalist and this season's Crystal Globe winner in LL Snowboard Cross. Huckaby was first introduced to para-snowboarding in 2013 after losing her right leg to cancer at the age of 14. And now, as a mum of two young daughters, she's using her platform for more than just medals. We are so excited to have Brenna Huckaby join the Stifel Snow Show today. Brenna, hi, thank you so much for being with us. I have to ask you, with the season now complete, you had 2 wins, 6 podiums. How do you reflect on your accomplishments now that you get to ease into this off-season?
Yeah, I mean, on paper, my accomplishments sound amazing, and I think they are, but at the same time, I know I could have done better. And so moving into this off-season, I have this fire to work even harder so that next season I can raise that bar even more, because I don't know, I feel like I'm walking away with more gas in the tank, and I'm hoping, next season I can lay it all out there a little bit more.
We all know what's looming next season, so you might be timing this out just perfectly. I mentioned your 2 young girls. How do you balance the juggle of being a mum and an elite athlete who has to travel, obviously, quite regularly?
Oh, I hate the word balance because I feel like it's never a balance. It's a lot of balls in the air, and sometimes I catch them and sometimes I don't. But one consistent for me is my priority is my family and my children. So sometimes my sports career gets a little neglected so that I can take care of my family, and sometimes all the other things that I am doing gets a little neglected so that I can take care of my family and my sport. So it's a lot of, I don't want to say disappointment, but a lot of just wishing I could do it all, but I can't.
Well, it looks to us like you are. So congratulations on seemingly keeping a lot of those balls in the air. And I'm sure the girls love looking up to you. You must be such an inspiration to them. And they maybe have a little bit of competitive snowboarding in their future, I hear. Is that right?
Yes, my oldest is doing banked slalom competitions at our mountain, and she did her first snowboard cross competition this year. She loves it. She has the competitive spirit in snowboarding that me and my husband do. And it's really cool because she's really fast out of the gate, and then she gets a little nervous on the rollers, which is just like me, which is funny.
There you go, like mother, like daughter. You've overcome, as we mentioned, some life-changing obstacles to now achieve success at the highest level. How are you trying to change the narrative around Paralympic sport through Cultured?
Cultured is a media collective where we take para-athlete voices, we amplify them, and we get the athletes telling the stories that they want to tell that goes beyond how they became disabled. We kept hearing that in order for Paralympic sport or para sport to gain traction and more media attention, we need more broadcasting. But then when we talk to broadcasting, they're like, well, you need more media attention and more people talking about para sport. So that's kind of how Culture was born.
I truly admire your advocacy work. One of those also surrounds body positivity. Tell us why you've decided to show off your prosthetic while snowboarding, which I think is epic, and also why you chose the color purple.
Yeah, so when I first started snowboarding, I loved the discreetness it gave me and freedom away from my disability. But what kind of happened is that turned into a bit of a crutch, and it kind of just almost became something that I was hiding from. And over the last few years, I've kind of reclaimed that and decided I'm proud of what I can accomplish with one leg, and I want people to see me blow by them on the mountain with one leg and them just going, wow, I had no idea that was even possible. And also, I need to get better at snowboarding because she just totally crushed me.
We're obviously a year out from what would be your 3rd Paralympics. How are you going to prepare? Is anything going to be different maybe this off-season as we look ahead to Milan Cortina?
Yes, I feel like I'm finally in a place to place mentally with my family where I can really dive into the habits that are going to take me to the next step in my career. And so right now I'm really focusing on my nutrition, making sure that I'm getting all the macros and all the whatevers. And so that's where I'm at now, on top of getting habits with the gym and really dialing in that growth.
It sounds like a very organized, structured process, but one that leads to becoming a Paralympic champion. So thank you so much for joining us. Our last guest on the Stifel Snow Show this season, Brenna. It's been awesome having you and getting to know you a bit better, and good luck with everything that is ahead.
Thank you.
Now to Para-Alpine in Veysonnaz, Switzerland, the mountain village setting the stage for a majestic season ender, where Eagle Colorado's Audrey Crowley capped off an impressive showing this time with 2 top 10 finishes in the women's giant slalom standing classification at 4th and 5th. As we've said before, the 17-year-old Vail student definitely cementing herself as a name to watch in the upcoming Paralympic Winter Games. Audrey, of course, one of the many highlights in a season full of amazing athlete stories. And Brenna, a moment ago, the last in a long line of outstanding guests. So here are some of our favourite moments.
I'm Chris Wilson. I'm coming up next on the Stifel Snow Show.
When a snowflake falls from the sky, the conditions it faces on its journey through the atmosphere give it a shape entirely unique from any other. A season of snow sports is much the same. As the athletes travel thousands of miles across the world, their success is shaped by the adversity they're able to overcome. Their journeys are what makes each accomplishment so special, and what made this season unlike any that has come before.
Macuga is your new leader. Breathless in the finish.
From breaking out, Audrey Crowley netting a bronze medal.
Look at this. Oliver Martin, all business.
To breaking through.
Breezy Johnson is a first-time gold medalist, and the emotion is finally taken over.
Maddie nails it again.
Winning her first World Cup hit Secret Garden.
This season was filled with amazing moments. Like big names returning to form after time away.
Vonn in her comeback. It is an avalanche of momentum for the 40-year-old.
Why not unretire and have a crack at the half pipe?
And team celebrations on home snow.
Zellinger puts it to his feet. He is back.
Big night for Team USA.
The depth of the women's team fully on display tonight.
We watch the best in the world accomplish superhuman feats.
Alex Ferreira, wow.
Yeah!
Kauf, just asserting dominance here.
Wow, Chloe, are you kidding me? Mikaela Shiffrin, it is 100. Untouchable, unreachable, unrepeatable.
And were equally inspired by reminders of their humanity.
Diggins is going to take the win.
Athletes are also just humans, and we have our ups and downs, and we have our struggles.
I love passing people and doing really cool things in this leg, and them seeing it. It really makes people think, oh, disabled athletes are capable of so much more than we thought.
Next year has the potential to be even more special as American athletes vie for the opportunity to represent their country on the world's biggest stage.
The idea of us, all three of us, going to the Olympics is insane.
There's one other notch in my belt that I've got to tick off.
I think about the Olympic gold medal every single day.
I wouldn't be where I am without that gold medal.
I'm really excited for the whole world to ship themselves on over to Cortina.
The world will be watching. We'll see you there. And thanks to you, the viewer, for being here with us each and every week. We've been along for this epic ride together and have loved every moment. Huge thanks also to the athletes who have opened themselves up as we get to know them a little bit better. And yes, we will indeed see you again. The 2026 Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games will be here before we know it. But well before that, a quick program note. Action still to come April 20th as we bring you the World Freestyle Championships on NBC. It's been an absolute pleasure being with you here on the Stifel Snow Show each week. I'm Cara Banks. Thanks so much for tuning in all season. And from everybody here, it's a big goodbye for now.